All right, Rich.
All right, yeah.
Rich has a question, man. Go ahead, Rich. We're driving
All
back.
right.
We're driving right back from Malibu right now.
All right, yeah. I was just curious, like, doesn't the scientific way of approaching things, we were just talking about this on the beach, doesn't it really produce the opposite effect? Like, if you're always obsessing about approaching and, escalating and getting the phone number instead of just being curious and, really into what people are saying in the conversation, doesn't it produce the opposite effect?
Well, here's the thing. It's so true.
Yeah.
In a way, it really does. Here's something that I find really interesting is that we tend to overthink as humans. And I'm going to give a really good example. Football season's starting right now, right?
Yeah.
And Ronnie Brown and Deuce McAllister are both coming back from knee injuries. And something about football, and I had a lot of friends, actually I had a couple of friends that played in the NFL and a lot of friends that played college football. And if you watch NFL running backs and quarterbacks and other ones when they come back from big injuries, right?
Yeah.
They overthink a lot because they have all this scientific stuff in their mind. They got the knee injury, they had to go through the rehab, they had to think about every little thing, every little motion, everything, right? So all of a sudden the game becomes less fluid to them. The game becomes harder to them, right? Because they're not going out there and just hitting the hole. They're thinking about it because they don't want to get that hit. They don't want to take that first hit.
Yeah.
And that first hit, they think to themselves, shit, is my knee going to hold up, right? Is my knee going to hold up? We outthink ourselves. And I'll give you another. Oh, yeah, you get stuck in your head. I'll give you another example. Daphne just had surgery for 2 tumors, right?
Yeah.
She had mast cell tumor. Look it up on the internet. Not a pretty sight, right? And I just freaked out. Every day when I pet her, I'm like looking, I'm feeling, and you start thinking about it because it's scientific, because you've read about how half the dogs get the tumors again, half the people that have knee surgery get it again, and you start really just getting tight. So if you're going in there and you're starting to meet women, and you're thinking the scientific method, you're thinking, you walk over to her and you think to yourself, well, shit, man, if I walk over and I say, hey, what a beautiful day today, and you read on the internet or you read some scientific method and the scientific method says she's supposed to say this, and all of a sudden she doesn't say it, you start to overanalyze things. What does that mean? So you lose all intuition, okay? Intuition is the greatest thing, and if you look at it, one of the best exercises I'll tell all you guys to do, and I've told guys that do the boot camp this also, go out one day, go to a park. It's a little tiny, go to a park, okay? And go to a park where 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds go and play, right?
Yeah.
And just go there and watch kids. Don't look like a creepy guy, okay? Look like a pedophile somewhere in the park, right?
Yeah.
Go there and just watch kids. Watch the way kids interact, okay? Watch the way they play. Watch how curious they are. Then another thing to do too is when you go out and about, when a little kid is sitting next to you, like go to a restaurant, look at the way a little kid is looking at you, right? Make faces at the little kid. The little kid is doing things based on intuition. What happens is that we spend all these years being intuitive. And remember, as a little kid, like my mom would always say to me, I'd look at a woman when I was a little kid, my mom would go, oh, he's such a flirt. Then all of a sudden it became 5 or 6, and then my mom started saying, stop looking at strangers, don't talk to strangers, right? So we lose all this intuition, so then we spend so much of our life trying to become over that shit that our parents have done, over what society has done, right? We go naturally against the grain, so we start looking at all these scientific weird ass methods, right? And I've never been about a scientific method about creating attraction. I don't think it's really scientific because I do it based on feeling. I do it based on emotions, and I do it based on being real. Now, granted, of course, there are things you can do on a date, like we just talked about, touching, creating touch, breaking boundaries and stuff like that. But when it goes down to first meeting somebody, it's very, your body language is what it's about, man. It's like having good body language. Go over there and don't expect to be rejected. Go over there and own it and expect her to be turned on by you, and you'll see many different results.